Welcome to Comic Drop's weekly comic roundup, where we go over and give you a quick little synopsis and discussion over some of this week's releases from DC and Marvel. We have a pretty DC-heavy release schedule this week, but we do have one Marvel book sprinkled in there. But anyways, joining me as always is Andrew Lilly. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. Glad to be back.
Glad to be back. Awesome. So I think we're gonna go ahead and start out with your favorite character of the bunch. Aquaman Rebirth #1 came out today. So what did you think of that one?
I really liked it. It served as a good bridge for old readers and returning ones. So we sort of it continued the story that Abnett's been telling since he took over the book in 49. But it also gives a good look at who Aquaman is. It kind of borrows a lot of elements from Jeff Johns' run.
I think there's a line, I can't remember what it is, but I'm pretty sure there's a line in that book that I remember hearing before.
Yeah, I think the one that I noticed was the one where he's talking about the fish.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yep. That he doesn't actually talk to fish.
Yep, that sounded exactly like Jeff Johns, but it kind of goes over a lot of what he's done since the New 52. They even bring up the attacks in Boston
Throne
of Atlantis.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yep, that's great. And then let's see what else they did. It's really just a lot of his origins again, so it's really a good starting point for new Aquaman readers. And that was kind of my complaint from last week, was that a lot of these books weren't very new reader friendly.
Some of them were kind of, you needed to know at least a little bit background.
Exactly. And this
had to read something before.
Yeah, and this week was a lot better in terms of...
I'd have to agree.
Yeah, it really... And while it could seem like a drag for readers who kind of already know the characters, it makes sense. So, yeah, and then great artwork. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, and the reveal, the villain at the end, is going to make a lot of people happy.
That was so awesome.
Yep. Not going to spoil it, but if you get your hands on Aquaman Rebirth, I promise you're going to like it.
Yeah, I'm pretty much going to echo what you said. It was a really good starting off point for anyone new trying to get into Aquaman. It went over all the key aspects of his character, and so that was a great look at him and his world, and so it did that really well.
Yeah.
And then the art, actually, I really liked, which I was really surprised about, because I was skeptical going in. I didn't really like any of the art that had been released for the book before it had come out. But actually seeing, especially Aquaman's design and his costume, I really, really didn't like the look of it. But seeing it in action and actually in the book, it worked really, really well, and I really liked it. So I'm really, really relieved about that. And I'm really looking forward to see where this goes. The villain twist, like you said, was great. And I'm just excited for the future Aquaman books.
Yeah, same. And just like what you said about the art, I was pretty skeptical of it as well, and the design, but it's working really well, and I'm really excited to see what Brad Walker, the lead artist for the series, what he's going to do, because he released a few images this past week of some preview pages, and it looks so good. And
I'm honestly really, really excited that there's two artists on these books. I didn't know how I would feel about it at first, but honestly, now I look at it hey, I get two awesome artists drawing some of my favorite characters at the same time.
Yeah, and it's just after this week, I was man, I just couldn't wait a month for these books to come back, so I'm really excited for the bi-weekly.
I realized it yesterday, because Tom King tweeted out that Batman #1 was coming out next week, and I was wow, already? And then it hit me, I was oh my god, if Batman's not coming out this week, it'll be next week, and it's like that every week.
Exactly.
I'm so excited.
That's how I felt about Green Lanterns. I looked at the release, and it's oh yeah, you've got a comic coming out next week. I'm what? It's oh, it's Green Lanterns already? It's
so many great comics so fast.
So fast. I can't.
Crushing my wallet.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, though, moving on. Flash Rebirth also came out this week, which I really, really loved this one. It kind of continued. It did continue the meeting between Barry and Wally from Rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
So spoilers for Rebirth 1 if you haven't read it, but I'm assuming that you have. So it continued that, which was really, really awesome. And then it also kind of dealt with Barry losing his memories and not feeling right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was cool. And I thought the way that they continued the moment between Barry and Wally was awesome. And seeing it again was as emotional as ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I really loved what they did in this book to establish a plot line that's really going through the entire DC universe right now.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really excited to see where that goes going forward and how that develops. But yeah, and then the art, I really, really loved the art. I know that some people have been kind of 50-50 on it, but I really liked it. There's a couple pages that I think, or a couple panels that I think were kind of off, but for the most part, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of just have to agree with you about the plot. I wouldn't say it was my favorite issue of the week, but it definitely was intriguing, especially the follow-up to Rebirth. The rest of it was kind of just, your typical just reintroducing your characters, the Flash. Yeah, the parts with Wally, loved those. And yeah, the art, I'm one of those who was just kind of iffy on it. I liked the motion that you felt from the art, but the faces were just really weird.
Yeah, those were some of the panels that I was kind of
so it's not
once
terrible.
I saw that you said it on Twitter before I read the book, and so I was looking for it, and so it was even more apparent. But
yeah,
other than that, I really liked. Other than the faces, in some panels, I really liked it.
Yeah, agreed. But I mean, I'm definitely gonna check out the Flash, the Rebirth, the series.
Oh yeah, for sure. The story alone is worth it.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm just kind of wondering how they're gonna make this Godspeed. How they're gonna set him apart from other villainous speedsters.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Just because I tweeted it earlier today or yesterday. I can't remember. Just saying that I'm kind of getting a little tired of speedsters or the villains, just because
in Flash, it's all we've had recently.
Yeah,
in everything.
Because in the New 52 we had the Reverse Flash, we had Future Barry, we had the actual Reverse Flash,
Professor Zoom.
Yeah, Professor Zoom, and then we're having Godspeed. So it's within 5 years we've already had 4 speedster villains,
and not only that, outside of the comics we get Reverse Flash and then Professor Zoom again on the TV show.
Yeah, and so I'm just a little skeptical right now.
Someone with powers other than speed can fight against the Flash.
Yeah, so I mean, his design looks cool, his name is awesome, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'd agree on that one. Definitely after this, I really hope we don't see more speedster villains for a while.
Yeah, same.
But moving on to a book that I know you're kind of about, Wonder Woman Rebirth also came out this week.
Yeah.
I really liked it just because I think that this book, like all the other ones this week, is really, really new, reader friendly. And I've read Wonder Woman, but in team books and stuff, but I haven't read a whole lot of her books, solo books. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, I know her character and I know her origins and everything, but actually reading it in this book, I thought this book did it really well and established how they're going to explore it going forward, and it got me really interested. And so I think that's a really, really big draw for a lot of readers to this book.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a plus. And then the art, I really, really loved. The art was amazing.
Yeah, the art was awesome.
But yeah, I can see some of the complaints that it's kind of boring if you know her origins already. But yeah, what did you think of it, Andrew?
Yeah, I'll say that it got me really excited for the number one and the story going forward. But as in just the issue itself, I found it to be kind of slow. A lot of it was just kind of her staring into the mirror and kind of just questioning whether her life is a
thinking.
lie and stuff, and I just found it to be a little slow. But like I said, it made me really interested for when her series actually starts with number 1 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was, again, just like it was a lot of setup for
Yeah.
the future.
Yeah,
And
and like you said, it's a lot of her origin. Again, new reader friendly, so that's good. And the art was so good. I loved the art. I will say though, it is a little jarring. The difference in styles is just really jarring.
yeah, kind of.
But it's not a big complaint because both of the artists are really good. And then
Definitely.
I think the last few pages, that's going to be the lead artist, right? That's
I believe
Sharp?
so, yes. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and I mean, if that's what the art's going to look like in the main series, whew, it's going to look good.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to check out Wonder Woman when it comes out. Like you, I'm not a big Wonder Woman fan. I don't go out of my way to buy her solo books. But with Rebirth, starting number 1s.
I'm buying so many number 1s
Yes.
just to at least try them. I want to try them. Everything that I've read so far has been great,
Exactly.
so I have no reason to doubt it.
Exactly.
But yeah, moving forward, we have one of my, I don't know if this was my favorite for the week, but it's definitely up there, Detective Comics Rebirth, which was, first off, we can talk about the art, which was
Oh my
phenomenal. I think this one is definitely my favorite art of the week.
Agreed.
It was beautiful. I know we had a conversation about this, just going back and forth. So many different pages, and just every page in the book really was gorgeous and so well done.
It was.
I'm so excited for it going forward.
Definitely, the art was just like so cinematic.
It really was.
I mean, just like it felt like Gotham. Really, like it's like the first time I've actually looked at the art and felt like it's actually Gotham. I mean,
It really felt like a Gotham brought to life, and then also something that I really loved was the page layouts. They varied a lot.
Yes.
And
Definitely.
they were all dynamic and they fit the scene really well, and it was very awesome. So the art was a huge plus. And then as for the story, it kind of set up the what's going to be going forward and how Batman and Batwoman are the team leaders for Cassandra Cain, who's calling herself Orphan, and then Stephanie Brown, spoiler, and Tim Drake, who's Red Robin.
Mhm.
And then they also bring in Clayface, which I was a little iffy about him being brought in, but the way that they brought him in, I actually loved.
Me too. Me too.
And so, yeah, it was just setting that up again, like the other books, and I really loved it. And again, it's just, I'm super excited for all of these books going forward.
Yeah. Same. I mean, Detective Comics I was a little hesitant of it because I'm not a big Tynion fan. But
See, I have a lot of faith in him.
after this issue, I definitely do.
That's good.
Just it was just so cool. I mean, I've been wanting Batwoman back forever, and to bring her in this way is just so original. It's so fresh.
And she has such a big role.
Exactly. She has a huge role as co-leading this new Bat family with Batman. And then so basically it's someone is hunting or has targeted all of the Bat family members, and to stay alive, Batman and Batwoman are going to put them through their own boot camp. And I just think that's such an interesting idea, and it's cool.
It's such a cool concept.
Yeah, and it's a cool team book now, because for the longest time Detective Comics was just the other Batman book. And
It's such an exciting team book too.
Exactly.
It's just a really exciting story.
it really is, and it really sets itself apart, because I know with Action Comics and Detective Comics, you kind of just forget about them, that they're there, because
Yeah.
they're just sort of like, the other books. Like, you've got the main flagship titles of Batman and Superman, and then you've got Detective Comics if you want to read more.
More.
But this one is just setting itself apart, and it gives you a reason to pick it up.
Yeah, because for a while, Detective Comics, like you said, it was just, I would read it because it was just an additional Batman story. And I love Batman, so I would just pick up more, but it wasn't anything that, like, stood out.
Exactly.
And like you said, this does.
Exactly. And I'm going to agree with you on the Clayface part because I thought that was so weird. And I actually thought when they showed him on the cover that that's who they'd be fighting. But then just the way they explained it in the book was just really, really good. And it makes sense.
It might be my favorite moment in the book, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a big reveal. I don't know if I can say it, but between Batman and Batwoman, that I totally forgot about. Because
I knew it, but whenever they said it, I was still shocked.
Yeah, because I didn't even piece it together. Because I knew his mom's... Okay, yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to spoil it.
That's as far as we'll go.
Yeah.
You can
not gonna
piece
spoil
that
it,
together.
But it's really satisfying.
Yeah, it's awesome. But, okay, moving on to the one comic that I haven't finished reading yet this week. Action Comics Rebirth also came out. So, what happened in this one, and what did you think of it?
So, Action Comics this week was kind of, sort of continuing on from the whole Death of Superman story arc, but it doesn't really go into too much. It's really about Superman kind of embracing his role as the Superman of this universe, of this world, because he's finally come to terms that the New 52 Superman is dead. And so we see the big issue is Lex Luthor, because he thinks that Lex Luthor is just pure evil, which
I mean, rightfully so.
Rightfully so, because in his universe, that's who Lex Luthor was. And then we've got Luthor. He's saying he's the Superman of Metropolis now, and so he's the savior. And so the two of them kind of coming together and their interactions is really, really cool. And then I'm not going to spoil it, but there is another villain who shows up at the end.
I'm interested now.
Yeah, who a lot of people will probably like. And the art was so good. This was probably my second favorite art of the week after Detective Comics.
Nice.
But I mean, this felt like a classic Superman story. I mean, it was just good. And interesting. It takes a lot for me to be interested in Superman books, because most of the time I hate to say it, but I kind of find them boring sometimes.
He gets that complaint a lot. It's a really common one.
Yeah, and Superman and Wonder Woman, this is the issue for both of them. They just have to have really compelling stories for me to care. And so this one does. I'm not going to say too much about it because there's a lot of things that the reader will really enjoy if they read it without being spoiled. So I'd say definitely jump on board. Right now, I think this one's probably better than Superman. And that's what I said about Detective Comics too. It's funny because the comics that were just the other ones
books
are actually right now my more anticipated, because I like them
That's
better.
crazy.
Yeah.
I will say that I love Lex's Superman suit. I don't know, I think it looks really cool.
It does.
And then, one thing that I've heard consistently is that everyone is praising the art on the book.
It's so good. He used to do the art on Green Arrow for a bit. And I did not like it at all. I thought it was pretty boring and dull. But bringing him onto Action Comics is perfect. So it's just some artists just work better with certain characters.
And it's so cool. DC's done such a good job so far of finding which artists work really well with the characters that they need to.
Oh, absolutely.
And so that's super exciting. But moving on to the final book of the week, which is actually the one Marvel book that we have on here. I know you didn't pick this one up, but Vision number 8, by Tom King, who also writes Batman, came out this week, and it continues the story of how last issue we found out that Vision will basically do anything for his family, and so the Avengers have been kind of warned about this, and there's, we get some eerie narration about what could happen and what the Vision is willing to do in order for his family and to keep their life happy. And so it just continues that. And the story in Vision, for me, one of the big draw to the book is it's honestly a really psychological book, and it's just so incredibly well written, and it really makes you think. And I don't know, I really love it. And it's not a huge, it's not an action driven book by any means. There's sometimes, but there's not a lot. But the art, I really, really love the art. It matches the kind of style and tone and eerie kind of setting that the book has. But yeah, it's honestly one of my favorite books that's out right now, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who's just looking for a good comic to read. But
I've heard so many good things about that book. So
I have nothing but good things to say about it.
That's crazy.
It's honestly, it's what gave me so much reassurance and faith for Tom King coming on to Batman. I was so happy about it.
He's had some great books so far. I mean, he had what did he have? He had Omega Men, Grayson, Sheriff of Babylon, and Vision, and all of them have gotten just
I've heard wonderful things.
Yeah, nothing but praise.
So he's awesome. But so that wraps up all of our books for this week. But I've been forgetting to do this the past couple of times, but now we will shamelessly plug our social media. So Ander, where can people find you on the internet?
Well, I'm on Twitter at AnderWriter. Come ask questions, talk comics.
Awesome. And you can find me on Twitter and YouTube at APBatman with 2 T's. And yeah, be sure to keep it locked to Comic Drops for the latest drops in superhero news and entertainment. And we'll see you next week. Later.